Protesters in states such as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan calling for an end to the coronavirus lockdown have President Trump as an ally.
There are a lot of protests out there, and I just think that some of the governors have gotten carried away.
While these states often lean Democratic, they helped propel Trump to victory in 2016 and could again play a key role in deciding the 2020 election. Trump supporters say he is right to push back against what they say have been excessive and arbitrary economic restrictions imposed by the Democratic governors of these states.
He wants to allow states to determine their lockdowns. But that doesn't mean he's not going to criticize the ones that are going over the line.
Some protesters in Michigan have been armed with assault rifles. Joe Biden, the Democratic presumptive nominee for president, has denounced the intimidation tactics of demonstrators and blasted the president for sowing discord. Trump's critics say the president's inconsistent response to the pandemic, empowering the states and then criticizing their governors, is politically driven to shift blame for the crisis away from himself.
If he is able to basically, divide himself, separate himself from these individual governors in these states, particularly swing states like Michigan, for example, he can say, look, it's those governors' fault, not my fault, that the economy is faltering, so blame them.
The United States has the most coronavirus cases in the world, and over 91,000 people so far have died from the outbreak. The crisis has also idled much of the nation's economy, leaving millions without jobs. President Trump is pushing to reopen the economy despite concerns from health officials that the country still lacks the large-scale testing and surveillance capability needed to control the outbreak. Political analysts critical of the president describe Trump's strategy as reckless because it encourages crowded protests that could further the spread of the deadly virus. They also say the strategy is an implicit acknowledgement of the president's shortcomings during the crisis.
On one level, he's saying, hey, reelect me because, I can bring the economy back. On another level, he's saying, well, I wasn't able to manage the states and the governors very effectively.
All 50 states have now begun to partially reopen their economies, and a number of them are experiencing an upward trend in new coronavirus cases, adding to uncertainty over how the pandemic will affect voting in November and the outcome of the election. Brian Padden, VOA News, Washington.